All right, Matthew. Moving on to this week's topic, finding trigonometric functions of special angles. Now, when it talks about special angles, your special angles, I'll tell you what, let's do it this way. Your special angle triangles are, going back a couple weeks, are 30, 60, 90, and the 45, 45, 90. Okay, so those are your two special angles. Okay, special angle triangles. All right, now let's make a chart. The best way to do this, guys, is to make a chart. So when you do this, I'm gonna help you make you a chart, and then I'm gonna show you how to use it. Okay, so let's do our 30, 60, 90. Okay, I will call this our 30. Call this our 60. And of course, we have our 90. Okay, this is the short leg. This is the long leg, and how I know that, because the short legs across from the 30. Okay, the long legs across from the 60. Then, of course, this is my hypotenuse. Okay, so now, let's to make this easier. Let's put some numbers to these. Okay, now we're going to use these numbers, guys. These numbers I chose to help you. No particular reason. I chose them to help you to be able to do the IXL. Okay. All right. Now, let's let the hypotenuse be 2. Okay. Now, guys, on this, just let the hypotenuse be 2. Don't even think too much about it. Just let it be 2. Okay. Now, if you remember, if you got the hypotenuse, if you divide it by 2, that gives you the short leg. Okay. Now, remember, this is the short leg. So half of 2 is 1. So our short leg is 1. Okay. All right. Now, if we got the short leg, remember, guys, this is the long leg. That's going to give us if we have the short leg, it's times the square root of 3 to give me the long leg. Now, guys, these are your special right triangle rules. All right, now, if you don't recall what I'm talking about, go back a couple weeks. I put up a PDF of this. You got your 30, 60, 90 rules, and you got your 45, 45, 90 rules. These are your 30, 60, 90 rules, okay? If you're not sure where I got these, go back a couple weeks, okay, and get these rules. You'll see where you have these rules written down, okay? Or I gave them to you on a piece of paper. So now, if the short leg is 1, then that's going to be 1 times the square root of 3, which is simply just the square root of 3. Okay, so the long leg is the square root of 3. Okay, now let's fill up a chart here. Okay, now usually I do this with Math 3, but this will give you a little head start for next year. Either Math 3 teacher you have, you'll probably fill this chart in. That's sine, cosine, tangent. Okay, then this will be 30, 60, 45. Now notice there's 2 different special right triangles, guys. 30, 60, 90. 30, 60, 90. And 45, 45, 90. Okay. Now we're going to use those 2 special right triangles to fill in this right here. Okay. So now let's take this triangle we made. Guys, remember, don't think too deep into it. Just trust me on this. Don't think too deep, and you'll be fine. Okay. Now 30, 60, 90. Now, remember this is 2. The short leg is 1. This is the square root of 3. Okay? Now remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so now, so let's go ahead and fill this chart in. Now, the first angle we're looking at is 30. Okay, so we're looking at this. This is our angle. Okay, this is the angle we're looking at. Okay, over 30, 60, 90 to fill in this first line. Now, the sine of 30. Now, the sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so now, looking at this 30-degree angle, this is the opposite, this is the hypotenuse. So what does that make? Opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. You're going to put that right here. Okay? All right. Cosine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Cosine is this side. Okay? This is the 30. This is the hypotenuse. So it's this adjacent, right here, adjacent over hypotenuse. And then our tan of 30 is opposite over adjacent. Remember this ratio right here? Opposite over adjacent. Well, that's going to be 1 over the square root of 3. Now, guys, remember, you can't leave a square root in the denominator. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to rationalize it by multiplying top and bottom by the radical that's on the bottom. And that gives you the square root of 3 over the square root of 9. But, guys, you should know this by now. The square root of 9 is 3. Okay? So that gives me the square root of 3 over 3. Okay? All right, so now, this is what's going to go in this blank. That's what goes in that blank. Okay? Now, the sine of, okay, now let's move to our next one. Now, the sine of 60. Now, guys, our 60 is here. Okay, so we're changing angles. We were here. We're changing to this angle. All right, now, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so now, if this is 60, this is the opposite. This is the hypotenuse. So sine of 60 is the square root of 3 over 2. Okay. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 1/2. Okay. And tangent is opposite over adjacent, which is the square root of 3. Because think about it, guys. Opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. Okay? That's how I got this right here. Alright. Now, we can't answer the 45. We can't answer 45 degree column here because we don't have a 45 degree triangle. So what we're going to do, we're going to have to make one. Now, one thing you should remember about 45/45s is the legs are always the same size. That is an isosceles. That is an isosceles triangle. Okay, this isosceles right triangle actually. And if this is 45, this has to be 45. Those are always congruent. Okay, 45, 45, 90 is 180 degrees, which all triangles equal up to 180 degrees. The internal angle there. Okay. Now, all right, so now let's talk about, now for the sake of time, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the legs measurements be 1, okay, just 1. So let this leg, and remember, if this is 1, this has got to be 1 because they're congruent, right? So if this is 1, this is 1, okay. Now, remember to go from the leg to the hypotenuse, you multiply that by the square root of 2. Now this is a 45/45. Now, guys, if you remember your your 45/45/90, if you're like, where's Johnson getting this stuff? I don't remember this. Go back a couple weeks and look under special right triangles, and you'll see these rules. I just didn't pull these rules out of the air. This is stuff you've already learned. Okay. Now, if the leg is 1, if I put that here, and I multiply it by the square root of 2, then my hypotenuse is just going to be the square root of 2. So that means that this is the square root of 2. Okay? All right, so let's fill this in. Now, sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Now, it doesn't really matter which 45, 45 you use because they're both the same angle. Let's use the bottom, okay? So now, opposite over hypotenuse. This is the opposite side. That's the hypotenuse. Now, let me give you another sheet of paper here. Run out of room. Okay? Now, the sine of 45 equals opposite over hypotenuse. All right, so now, if using this one, it says the sine of 45 equals 1 opposite over hypotenuse. Okay? Opposite over hypotenuse. Okay? Now, you're going to multiply both top and bottom by the square root of 2. Okay? And then what we're going to do, we're going to go 1 times square root of 2 is square root of 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4. But if you notice, guys, this always is a perfect square. So what you end up with is the square root of 2 over 2. Okay? Now, so the cosine of 45 is the square root of 2 over 2. Now, let's do cosine. So if we get our 45, 45 back down here. You know, this is 1, this is 1, this is square root of 2. We came together with that up here. Okay. This is 45, 45. This is 45. This is 90. Okay. Now, cosine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which if you're picking up the pattern, that's going to be exactly the same thing. Adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 1 square root of 2. And we rationalize by multiplying both square root of 2 over square root of 2 equals the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. So that is also cosine. Those are the same. Okay. Now, guys, the one thing I want you to notice, I want you to be able to derive, be able to know how to get this chart. But when you do this, if it's one of these special angles, you're going to use this chart. We're going to use these charts this chart that we made to answer the questions. This is the only way you're going to do it. Okay, you're going to answer all the questions on this section is going to be strictly from this chart. Okay, so the tan. All right, now, so 45 is opposite over adjacent. So the tan of 45 equals opposite over adjacent. Well, tan of 45, the opposite is 1, the adjacent is 1. So anytime you got 1 over 1, it's just 1. So the tan of 45 is just 1. So now, guys, this is going to be your lifeblood with this. Guys, I will warn you, you need to know how to get this, okay? In Math 3, you will have to know how to do this right here, okay? You will have to fill this chart in, and you'll probably more than likely always give my Math 3 a quiz on this closed note, all right? And they have to fill this chart in. But guys, it's very easy to fill in using your special right triangles. So let me show you how this works, okay? All right. Now notice what it says. It says evaluate. Write your answer in simplified rational form. Do not round. What this means is you cannot have decimals. You cannot have decimals. If you put a decimal in here, it will be wrong. You can't put decimals in here. All right, so now go to cosine. Here's cosine of 45. Cosine of 45. Cosine of 45 is this guy, square root of 2 over 2. So you're going to type that in. Press enter. That's your answer. Okay. Cosine of 30. Cosine of 30. And then, guys, now cosine of 30 is the square root of 3 over 2. 3 over 2. See, guys, it's easy. Once you got this chart, it's easy. Cosine of 60. 60 is my angle right here. 60 is my angle. Cosine of 60 is cosine of 60 is 1/2. So all I do, get my fraction bar, type that in. Easy peasy. Now, Tan of 45. Tan of 45 is this guy right here, which is 1. Just type 1 in. Tan of 60. Easy. Tan of 60. Square root of 3. Square root of 3. There you go. Sine of 45. Square root of 2 over 2. So hit that. Square root of 2 over 2. Guys, make sure you never have a radical in your denominator. If you do that, that means it's not rationalized. It will count it wrong. Okay. Cosine of 60. A lot of these probably will be repeats. 1/2. Cosine of 30. Square root of 3 over 2. Now cosine of 30, guys. Cosine of 30. Square root of 3 over 2. Press enter. Tan of 45. Tan of 45. It means this block is 1. Tan of 30 is this guy. Tan 30. 3. 3. Submit. Okay. Now, guys, here is pretty easy. Just go. You find. Well, all these are 30, so you know it's going to be in this column. They're actually all in order here. So 1/2 square root of 3 over 2, and hit tan of 30 square root of 3 over 3. There you are. Now, guys, so long story short, make your chart. Make your chart. You need this chart. You need this chart. If you do not have this chart, you will be lost. You will not know how to do it. You need to have this chart. Okay? You can, of course, you can do it the long way and get your 30, 60, 90s. They're all going to be either a 45, 45, 90 or a 30, 60, 90 triangle. You can do that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a long way around. If you fill in this chart, all of your answers for R5 is going to be in this chart. Okay, I'm gonna sign that for you. You have to have a 90 on this. 90 for credit, and the reason why, because I gave you pretty much all the answers. 90 for credit. 90 for credit. Get this chart. Make sure you have this chart written down. Don't cross the numbers up or it will be wrong. Okay. All right. So guys, that's what's going to be your. I'm going to post it right now. I'm going to let this video process. I'm going to post it online, and then I'm gonna let you make your own chart though. I'm not going to make a chart for you. Okay. All right. So guys, R5 is your assignment. Look, keep an eye out for near the end of the week. I may put another assignment up since this one's so easy. Guys, this should be a really easy grade for you guys. All right. Have a good day. If you have any questions, let me know. Make sure you have the chart. All right. Have a good day.